everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Oh Shoot. I'm your host, Cassidy Lynne, and happy Monday. Welcome back to another episode. We are in the midst of the holiday season. I know it's a very busy time for everyone. I know specifically this time of year, we've got Christmas, we've got New Year's, like it's just a lot. So if you're tuning into this episode during probably your busiest time of the year, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. It's actually funny. Someone submitted into one of my question boxes this week and said that they discovered the podcast and basically, Oh Shoot has made them feel a lot less lonely in photography, which I guess I didn't really even think about that. Because I personally have experienced a lot of that loneliness that comes with being a photographer. You're just like sitting behind your desk all day, editing, working on stuff, and like there's not as much people to people interaction as you'd think. So it is a lonely job, especially if you just work by yourself. So someone said that the podcast makes them feel a lot less lonely, and I just want to say thank you for saying that, because it kind of helped me realize, like, I don't know, sometimes when I record, like, I understand that I'm talking to all of you guys, but also sometimes it's hard for me to remember that because I don't actually get to see you guys. And like the most interaction I get with you guys is like through a question box like that, or if you like comment on my YouTube video. So anyway, it was just cool that someone said that. So today we are going through some of your submissions about the kindest thing that you've seen or the kindest thing that someone's done for you as a photographer. So that's what we're going to go in here and read your submissions, because 'tis the season to be thankful and grateful and just like reflect. And this is something that I've also been challenging myself to do today and this week, is just like thinking back on my year as a photographer and really being like, okay, what were some of the kind things that happened to me? What were some of my favorite moments? Because it's easy to remember the bad things. You know, I feel like a lot of this podcast is like focusing on those crazy moments, those crazy things that happened to you. But I also want to encourage you guys to think about those kind, just encouraging moments as well. So, that's what we're going to be talking about this episode. Right now, I don't know if anyone can relate to this. I just have like a few things that I wanted to bring up, kind of some of my random thoughts. I feel like my life right now is a lot less work than you guys would think. I think a lot of people have the impression that I work so much because I like pump a lot of content out, but the reality of the situation right now is I don't work that much. And I think it's good for me to not have a ton on my plate, because once January hits, that's when I'm like back in my swing of things. So I feel like my life right now consists of a couple things. Number one, football games. This is more so against my will. This is more so Charlie wants to watch football and I'm like, just happen to be in the vicinity. So I have no choice but to watch, or at least like listen. I've always said nothing puts me to sleep better than a football game or a basketball game. I'm not even joking you. My best naps are when I'm put in front of a sports game. Like it is what it is. So, that's been a big thing, is like football right now. I know there's like games and playoffs. I don't really know. I'm not a sports podcast, guys. But there's football games going on. I feel like I've also been playing a lot of board games. I'm sure a lot of you guys listening have heard of this game before. It's called Catan. I also think that's a hot take for how you pronounce it, because some of my friends say Catan. I personally try not to sound like I have a Midwestern accent. So Catan is what I say, because Catan literally sounds like you're from Wisconsin. So Catan, we have been playing a lot of that. Me and Charlie like to play it, just the two of us, but we also love to play with like our family. It is one of my favorite games. I don't know if like every business owner feels this way, but like I really love strategy, and that's always played into like my marketing. Like I've always loved marketing strategies. And I think in a game like Catan, it's basically like a board game where you're trying to like build the biggest like you're trying to expand your properties the widest and have like the most points or like the most property kind of. So then you win. So you're trying to like grow the fastest essentially. And I just think it's really fun. Like I'm very competitive. If you guys don't know this about me, and my family, like, not to like brag, but my family always says that like I basically win every game, or like it's very like I am very competitive, and so I try to win every game, and I do win a lot. But also like if I don't win, I'm like trying so hard to win. I'm competitive. Charlie's competitive. So we've been playing a lot of Catan. We've also been playing Scrabble, which is so random. I've never played Scrabble until this week. Like, I swear on my life, I've never played Scrabble. Like, I've played Bananagrams, which is like a version of Scrabble, I feel like. It's like faster paced. Anyway, so we've been into Scrabble. We've actually have been using Charlie's grandparents' like old set that they gave us. And this board is literally from like 1970. It's so old, but it's so cute. And it's a lot of fun. I feel like it's expanding my vocabulary as well. So if you guys hear some new words on the podcast, just know I'm a scholar. I've been playing Scrabble. So board games. I've also been doing a lot of sleeping lately, which I know sounds like so boring, but I'm telling you guys, like, sometimes in the midst of like craziness, or if you're, I don't even know, like if you're going through something, or if you just feel like you need a break, like sleep heals so many things. Even if like, let's say you're arguing with someone, let's say you're actively like in a fight with someone, or like you have a disagreement, like rather than like actually like doing something toward the problem in your life and like acting towards that, sometimes the best thing you can do is sleep. Like, seriously, it's amazing what sleep can do for you. It just like clears up your head so much and just allows you to have a much better perspective and a much clearer way of thinking. So I found that I've been sleeping a lot lately. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, like 10 p.m. I'm going to bed and I'm waking up at 9:30, which that is a lot of sleep. Like, I get that. But I think sometimes like when I don't sleep well, then my body kind of like tries to catch up, which is kind of like the phase that I'm in right now. Anyway, so all that to say, I've been doing a lot of sleeping, and Charlie and I, in our room, we have like our own Christmas tree. Like, we have a Christmas tree in our living room, and then we have like a Christmas tree for our room, and we have it set on like an automatic timer. And I think it goes off at midnight and it comes on at 6 a.m. And I'm not kidding you. Every single time that tree comes on at 6 a.m., Charlie like jumps up in bed and is like freaked out. And one, it's because I think the timer, like the outlet that the timer's on, is right by his head, but also like all the lights come on in the room too. So it's like, well, it's not all the lights, it's literally just Christmas lights. But so it's just funny because like I feel like maybe the Christmas tree has been contributing to why I haven't been sleeping well. Anyway, I need to keep going. Other things I want to talk about. It's snowing in Michigan. I am going to start snowboarding again. I think I've talked to you guys about this a little bit, but Charlie really loves snowboarding. He grew up doing it. I got into it a couple years ago. I'm not great by any means, but I'm not like a beginner, but I'm not great. I wouldn't even say I'm intermediate. But I do have like a new snowsuit. It's pink. It's light pink and it's adorable. It's like a full body snowsuit. So my hope is to obviously go snowboarding in the next couple of weeks, but I want to get some good content. You guys know we're always on the content grind, and I want some photos in my pink snowsuit. So if you guys see me post any pink snowsuit photos in the next couple of weeks, hype me up in those comments, because you know that was planned out. And then the last thing about the snow, to switch gears real quick, this is like totally like this whole thing I've been talking about, none of this has been related to photography. I'm so sorry. I just need to yap for a minute. But we got Appa these like little snow boots, and I know it sounds like cringy and like, okay, like you're spoiling your dog. No, like, I don't think you guys understand. I brought Appa out, on a walk. Like, it was like, I want to say a 10-minute walk. Like, we had been walking for 5 minutes, and this boy is like picking his paws up and he starts limping, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with him? So I pick him up and carry him all the way back to our house. And then like I put him down and it's like, I realized, oh my gosh, his paws were cold. So we start walking again and same thing. In about 5 minutes, he starts limping and acting like his paws hurt. So I got him snow boots because boy needs to keep walking. And from what I've heard, it's supposed to be like a worse, like snowier winter. So, yeah, I'm just trying to protect the people. Okay. That's all. The snow boots I got were from Amazon. It's actually funny because I'm sure you guys have seen the videos of dogs who like put snow boots on and they like act so weird and they're like flinging their legs everywhere. Like Appa was doing that same exact thing. And on the instructions of the snow boots, it literally says like, don't laugh at your dog when they put on these boots. Like, don't laugh at them. Don't like act like you're making fun of them. Like, only encourage them, because if you make fun of them, like they're not ever going to want to wear those boots and they're going to like be horrible with the boots. So it was really hard to like not like record him and like laugh at him because it was so funny. But like, I was like, I can't laugh because it's like it's just so bad. Like, it was so cute, but he was like being so bad with like lifting his legs. It was so funny. Okay. So let's get into some of your guys' submissions. The topic, like what I prompted you guys, was the kindest thing you've ever experienced or witnessed as a photographer. So I basically wanted you guys to submit like stories or things you've witnessed or experienced from being a photographer that has really encouraged you, that's been super kind. So I'm just going to go through and read all of them. And yeah, I'll share some stories along the way and we'll just do our thing. You guys know how it goes. So this person said, it's simple, but something we can all relate to. When you're out in public with your camera and you happen to see a couple or a young family in a picture perfect setting, they light up when you offer to snap a quick few photos of them for free. Such a fun way to serve the community and spread joy. And you know what? That is so true. I almost feel like it's my my civil duty to provide the community with good photos, especially if I see someone like in a setting where it's just so pretty. Like, I don't know if you guys, like for me, it's always like a couple. Like if I see a couple just like being picture perfect and I do have my camera, it's like, it doesn't hurt to ask, to just be like, hey, do you want a few photos? Because one, that's going to make their day. Two, it takes you 2 seconds to do that. And I actually have 2 different stories I can share of a time that someone's done this to me. So there was a time I was out in Washington with Charlie and his sister and his sister's kid, which would be my nephew. Okay, we're tracking here. And we were on this like long walk. It was so pretty. There was like the big mountain in Seattle is Mount Rainier is what it's called. It's like this gigantic mountain. Okay. I think it's technically a volcano. But anyway, it's inactive. Anyway, so we're on this walk and you can like see Mount Rainier. And we're like, I'm like with my nephew and we're walking and we stop and there's like these swings and we're swinging on the swings and this photographer had like a big tripod set up and a big like telephoto lens. Had to have been like close to a 400 or beyond lens. It was massive. And I think he was taking photos of like the mountain, obviously, because I think it was like one of the, like, it was just a really good spot to take photos of the mountain. So we're sitting there, my nephew's swinging. It's so cute. And this guy comes up to us and he's like, hey, do you guys want a picture? Like, your nephew's being so cute. Like, I can take a picture of your nephew. And, I obviously like left it up to, Charlie's sister to like let her make the decision, but she was like, sure. So he took like a couple photos of like the nephew swinging. And then like I got his email and he said that he like worked for Google and was on just like this hobby trip for fun, taking photos. And I was like, okay, did I just meet a CEO? Like, that's what it's giving. Anyway. So I think it was like 2 days later, I get an email from this guy with the photos and it was just like one photo of my nephew swinging, like with him in focus. And then it was like a shot of like Mount Rainier in the background in focus. And then like my nephew just kind of like out of focus. And it was so simple, so easy, but it just like was such a, like a fun way to capture that moment. And then another time, I was shooting a wedding, kind of in like a public area. And this photographer was like just walking around, in like this public area, I think just taking photos of strangers. And he asked it would have been my cousins if like they're like a couple. So it's like my cousin and then like my cousin's wife or whatever. asked them if they wanted photos of just the two of them. And this photographer took a couple photos and just emailed it to them right away, I think, or maybe airdropped them. And that was it. And like, they were so excited because they were taking this trip and like, they were finally away from their kids. So it was like little things like that really just like, I feel like just show like, I don't know. It's just, like this person said, it's a nice way to give back to the community. Okay. I need to keep going. Okay. When I get a tip after a wedding, because people don't usually tip a photographer after, or at least in my experience. Yeah. I think tips are such like a very practical way to show your photographer that you appreciate them. Tips are never expected, but they're always, always appreciated. And in my head, I've always felt like service industry people are people that I'm going to tip. Maybe not necessarily like the contractor that comes to like fix my toilet, but someone that does my nails, if someone gives me a massage, someone that does my hair, someone that does my photos. And I think like it's not expected, but when we do get tipped as photographers, it's just that little act of kindness that, you know, it's like that money isn't necessarily going towards our income. Like that money is just going towards our groceries. It can go towards our gas. It just like alleviates a little bit of our expenses so that we can like, maybe it's fun money that you're giving us. Like it's just always appreciated. And, I think tipping culture in general in America has gotten really out of hand. Like as far as tipping, like for coffee and like tipping when I go and make a purchase from like a boutique, it's like, why am I tipping you? But I think when it is someone that is providing you a service, like I said, it's not ever expected, but it is always so much appreciated, especially if that person's a small business. Like you are helping support a small business when you do that. And we really, really appreciate it. And I know everyone listening is a small business. So you're all like, yeah, duh, tell us to the people, to everyone else. Sorry. Okay. The kindest thing that you've experienced or witnessed as a photographer. One of my couples eloped at a location that you can't reserve or prevent people from being there. This is a very popular tourist spot, and that day there were easily 75 or more people there, either on the dock where my couple planned to get married or on the surrounding beach area. People were swimming, jumping off the dock, and dogs were running around, you name it. But when our little group came out for the ceremony, not only did everyone get out of the way, but everyone sat on the beach quietly and watched the ceremony. And then they all clapped and cheered when the couple kissed at the end of the ceremony. I have never had the general public be that courteous and thoughtful, and I don't generally expect them to in such popular locations. It was such a sweet moment that I will never forget. That is really sweet. That's really, really kind. And, you know, it's like sometimes we expect the worst in society, but in moments like that, it's like, gives me a little bit of hope in humanity, because it's like, obviously you want to have your fun beach day, but like, let's take a minute and just think of other people for a second. Like there's a wedding going on here. Like, yes, they chose to do it in a public area, but we can still respect that. And I think these people didn't even have to like not talk. They could have just been quieter than usual and that probably would have been fine. But the fact that everyone was just like attentively watching and being kind, that means so much. And actually makes me wonder if this was like in a small town area rather than like a city. Cause I feel like in potentially like a bigger city, people might not be as kind. But there was a time I shot a wedding and, I think it was at technically like a golf course country club, but it was on the water and there were like all these boats and it was like a Saturday. So like everyone had their boats out in the water and it was like during the ceremony, like one of the boats was playing like the most, like it had to have been like top 10 hits of like the moment, like, you know, like one of those radio stations. It was the most obnoxious music. And I just felt so bad for the couple because they have like this nice violin as they're entering the ceremony. And then someone's over here like playing Kesha. Like it was just like, okay, like this is not the vibe. So I think it was really nice that all these people, you know, kind of respected the ceremony. Okay. The kindest thing you've experienced or witnessed as a photographer. The kindest thing I've ever experienced as a photographer was arriving to the bridal suite and the bride had a huge goodie bag for me, filled with Clean Skin Club travel pack, a custom birthstone bracelet, a reusable zipper pouch. I use it for my SD cards when I'm traveling or for film, and a very thoughtful handwritten note, literally tied up in another gorgeous reusable bag with a bow. And then she actually had a fully set vendor table in her reception with name place cards and more custom goodies, and proceeded to thank and shout out her vendors in their welcome toast before dinner. She was so quick to post all of her sneak peeks and always mentioned in the comments how much her creative team meant to them as a couple. And she was so quick to leave me a 3-paragraph, 5-star review with photos. Too good to be true, forever grateful for the clients that go above and beyond to show their love. Yeah. So how did you just like describe everyone's like dream client right there? Like seriously, that client, this bride is everyone's dream client. The goodie bag, the thoughtful gift, having a table to sit at, having it set and be perfect. Not only that, like you getting credit during the wedding. I feel like that is like, whoa, like we do not need to do that. Like I understand you love me and you think that my creative process is amazing. Like, thank you so much for appreciating me. Shouting me out though, I feel like is so unnecessary. And sometimes people do that and I literally don't even know how to react. I'm like sitting there like, I don't know what am I supposed to say? Like, but then just like posting the sneak peeks, giving you a 5-star review. Like this client gets it. This client knows what it's like to be you and has shown you such appreciation. Like that is just amazing. Like the birthstone necklace, like, or birthstone bracelet. First of all, how does this person know your birthday? Like, that's crazy. But yeah, it's just so kind. Love that. That's such a fun story. Okay. This person has 2. One, I did a family session when I was first starting out. When they booked with me, the mom in this family of 4 said it would be just them. But when we met at the location, the grandparents, cousins, aunts, and uncles all pulled up right behind them. It turned into a 20-person session. I died on the inside before that, I'd only charged 2 people ever to take their photos. I felt so unprepared. The family was so kind and patient with me. It went so smoothly. They swooned over the photos. They paid me double what I asked for, which could not have happened at a better time in my life. It truly was a blessing. The second story, I was second shooting at a wedding last year. The mother of the groom had apparently had an allergic reaction to the makeup and the makeup artist had put on her face that morning. Her eyes were swollen shut and it took hours for her face to look normal again. We didn't get to the wedding venue until about 1 p.m. By the time we met her and she was fully ready, she looked gorgeous and I couldn't even tell anything had happened. Before we took family photos, she asked if she looked okay. I told her she looked beautiful. She teared up telling me the whole story. She gave me the biggest hug and thanked me for being there and being honest with her. Made my day and made her day. Yeah, that's so kind. I think a lot of the times when we shoot weddings, we forget that, I don't know, that like there's other people there and other people need affirmation and compliments too. Like there was a time, I'm thinking of a wedding I shot this year. The grandma showed up, and didn't know that she was going to be walked down the aisle. She thought that she was just showing up and like sitting in the ceremony. And because of that, she wore just like slacks and like a nice top. And when I was grabbing pictures of her when she first arrived, she like said something to me like, oh, I had no idea they were walking me down the aisle. Like I feel so underdressed. And I was just like, Grandma, you look great. You look so good. And I could tell that she was like so self-conscious of it. So like anytime I took her photo or saw her, I was like, Grandma, you look so good. Like love your outfit. Like you're doing great. Like, because I could just tell, you know, that she just wasn't feeling it. And I think sometimes we need to extend that past just our couple and past just like the bridal party and like really focus it on other people as well and just be aware. And then the other thing about like all of the family showing up, that could have been literally a horror story. Like I was prepared to be like, okay, why did you write in a horror story? But it turned into them knowing that they need to pay you more. And then they did. Like, that's amazing. I literally love that. Okay. Moving on. These are good stories, guys, and I have so many more to go. The kindest thing I've ever experienced was a bride who made me and the venue owner a custom gift basket and gave it to us on her own wedding day. She was the most kind, chill bride, and her generosity and kindness helped get me through the rest of the year. Yeah, I just love that. I love when clients see you as a person rather than just someone that's there to be their servant for the day. Yeah, it means a lot. And I do think like everyone has different love languages. For me, I wouldn't say like gifts is necessarily a love language of mine. But I do love when someone goes out of their way to get me a gift. Like I wouldn't necessarily say if I'm laying in bed, like having the worst day ever, buy me a gift. But for me, it's more so like the thought that someone thought to themselves, I want to make this person's day. I'm going to go out of my way to go get this specific thing for them. That's what does it for me. That's what I'm like, okay, so I'm crying. Okay, moving on. I was doing a maternity session at the Bonneville Salt Flats. Is it Bonneville or Boneville? Bonneville? I've always wondered that. Hold on, I need to look it up. Because I've always been like, it's one of those words that you say in your brain, but you never actually like say out loud. So I have no idea if I'm saying it right. Bonneville Salt Flats. Okay, cool. So none of the things that I said. Perfect. I was doing a maternity session at the Bonneville Salt Flats in Utah. The lighting, setting, and model were perfect. Towards the end of the session, she was almost completely naked with a wet sheet wrapped around her front belly. Wait, hold on. Okay, I want to make sure. I was like, wait, is this a bad story? Okay. With her belly exposed. Okay. The model was pretty thin before pregnancy, so she was feeling really insecure, but a whole crowd had gathered around us and watched the last part of the session. The crowd was cheering her on, complimenting her, even taking photos and videos of her. Afterwards, she said her confidence went up like crazy and she felt so ethereal. The perfect way to end pregnancy before bringing her baby earthside. Yeah, that's so sweet. Like another great story of just like humanity being so much greater than we thought they were. Like, that's so cute. And specifically, like, if you're someone that shoots, like a lot of pregnant women or, if that's like your niche, I'm sure you already know this, but if you don't, like, I feel like pregnancy just makes a lot of people feel insecure. Like when you're pregnant, like your body changes so much. Your body's so different than what you're used to. So a lot of my friends like have just felt insecure when they've been pregnant. So I think as a photographer, if we capture pregnant women, like to remember that they are like, dealing with a lot of things in their body that they're not used to. So a moment like this, like hyping them up and then having a crowd that hypes them up too, like that's just literally amazing. The only thing worse than taking too many photos while you're shooting is getting home and then having to edit all of them. Here are some ways to speed up your editing workflow without losing any quality in your work. Today, I want to introduce Aftershoot Edits 2.0. You can experience the most consistent edits straight out of Aftershoot. One of my favorite things about Aftershoot is their upgraded white balance and exposure AI models. Even if your lighting varies during your session and you have a lot of drastic changes, Aftershoot's able to instantly fix any blown out highlights, murky shadows, and overall, this feature allows you to have balanced photos no matter what your lighting conditions were. Another way to speed up your editing workflow is by using AI masking in Aftershoot Edits 2.0. This feature allows you to selectively edit your images through masking. With AI masking, Aftershoot can automatically select your subjects and adjust them to really make them pop in your image. Another great way to save time while you're editing is to use Aftershoot's advanced cropping and straightening. This tool allows you to customize and select any aspect ratio, and it even automatically crops in your photos so that the focus is more on your subject. It also can automatically straighten your photo, which is going to save you so much time in the long run. Say goodbye to spending way too much time editing your photos and use Aftershoot Edits 2.0. Aftershoot has an exclusive offer for all Oh Shoot listeners, so go to the link in the description of this episode to find out more. Thank you guys so much for watching, and now back to the show. Okay. This person is talking about tips as well. I had clients who went above and beyond in their tips. I never expect or ask for tips. Like most of us, I set my prices to fairly compensate me, but I've had clients go out of their way to tip despite my objections and use it as a moment to encourage me in my craft. Yeah. It's so kind. This person said, hi, my name's Kaden. The kindest thing that ever has happened to me as a photographer was when I first started photography last year. I barely had anything, just a camera and a dream. I did my first engagement shoot and my client bought me a privacy changing tent. Those things aren't cheap in my opinion, and it was the sweetest thing. I felt so supported in that moment, especially with just starting out. Yeah, that's really kind. I think like when someone just notices something that you need and gets it for you, I just think that's like so kind. Like, for example, this is not at all the same, but I was like, back in the day in high school, I was getting into like hair, like cosmetology, stuff like that. And I was giving haircuts. And someone that I gave a haircut to, like, I didn't have like one of those brushes. Like if you give a guy a haircut, there's like a really fat brush that you like use across like their whole head to like get all the little shavings off. And I didn't have one of those. And, this person that I gave a haircut, like the next week came and gave me, one of those things. It was like, here, like, I think you need one. Like you can have this one. Like I got this for you. And it was just so kind. I was like, this is something I needed and I didn't feel like going and buying it. I was trying to like make do with what I had. So yeah, that obviously means a lot. Okay. Last year I was asked to photograph a wish granting event organized by the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Oh my gosh. Am I going to cry, guys? Am I going to cry? A little boy with terminal disease loved nothing more than trucks. So our community, Rosewood, California, rallied every single garbage truck, fire truck, utility truck, oil truck, bus, police car, big rig, backhoe. You get the idea. The boy sat in his dad's lap, laughing and clapping with glee as each driver roared past with a wave. I loved capturing their pure joy on a gorgeous afternoon while their friends and family cheered and stacked up boxes and boxes of toy trucks and cars for him to play with back home. It filled me with immense gratitude that I could not only witness their special day, but give them photos that I hope they will always treasure. Yeah, so like I'm about to cry right now. I'm about to lock it in, try not to cry. That's literally so sweet. Literally, I don't know if I'd be able to do that. I would be sobbing if I were the photographer. Like, that's just like so cool that a community did that. Like, and then you got to capture. Oh my gosh, that's actually amazing. I don't know if I have much more to say about that other than like, that is so cute. And I'm so glad that they did that and that you were able to give that family photos that they're going to remember and treasure for the rest of their life. Like, it's so sweet that you were able to capture that little boy in like some of his happiest moments. Like that is so like irreplaceable. Like they will not be able to get that back, that moment. And like you were able to capture that for them and give them that moment back for them. Does that make sense? Really sweet. Okay. A client of mine likes my work so much that she brought her entire family to my mini sessions, like her whole extended family. She was so sweet. I love her. Okay. So I'm assuming that this person like paid for all these people to be there. Hopefully that's what I hope. Okay. This one's a little bit longer. A week ago, my husband, my son, and I were meeting some of my mom's friends and their kids at a local park. Earlier that morning, my husband gifted me a new camera for Christmas. He gave it to me early and told me to bring it with us on our outing so I could try it out and get some practice. So I did. As we were walking to meet our friends, we see a couple that had just gotten married in our local courthouse, and they were trying to take pictures on their iPhone with a tripod in the park. My husband, always pushing me to get out of my comfort zone, insisted I helped them take some pictures and use my new camera. I approached them and asked if they would like me to take some photos for them, and they were so thrilled. With all of the excitement, I forgot to introduce myself. So when I was trying to pose them, I didn't know how to address them, so I asked quickly what their names were, and the bride responded with her name, and I was shocked. When she said her name, I was like, wait, are you serious? What's your name again? And she repeated it, and I was like, that's my name too. It was so funny and such a beautiful coincidence that we both shared the same name. The couple was so grateful for my kind gesture. They sent me a very generous tip when I delivered the images for them. Yeah, that's really sweet. And also like, I try not to be too like conspiracy theory, like too heavy on like coincidences or fate or any of that stuff. Because I like to stick to the facts, but I do think some like little things like, oh my gosh, we had the same name. Like to me, that's like a little bit of a sign that that's what you were supposed to do. You were supposed to like go and meet that person and do that. I even like, like this girl that was my barista one time, like this was like a week or two ago. Her middle name was Lynne, spelled the same way as me. And then I started talking to her and she was so fun and kind. And I was like, okay, I feel like I was supposed to talk to you today. Like, it's just like little things like that kind of affirm like, okay, I did the right thing. Yeah. So that's really sweet. While I was shooting a proposal in Boston, the couple got engaged, and shortly after, When they were ready to take photos, two guys walked up to them. They were handing out free roses to people that looked like they needed them. So they gave the couple a beautiful white rose, and it made their day even better. I managed to snap a quick photo of the couple being given the rose. P.S. Love your podcast and all the content. Merry Christmas, from Isabel. That's really, really sweet. I love when, there are some people. Have you guys ever like been somewhere where people try to like give out free roses and then they're not actually free and then they try to make you pay for them? So like that's rude, but this instance is just really kind. Like just handing out free roses, just hand them out. Like that's, yeah. And like just knowing that the couple just like got engaged, like it just, yeah, that's something that they're going to remember and that they're going to be like, oh, we got engaged that one day, but also remember that person that gave us that rose. Like that was so special. Love random acts of kindness. Okay, let's keep going. When I was just starting out and I used to shoot events for friends just for fun and practice, my friend had a bridal shower party and I took photos of it and sent them to her. She said she loved them. She tagged me in them when she posted them. And then at her wedding, like 8 months later, she gave me a card. Inside the card was the sweetest handwritten note. It gave me so much confidence, and she gave me $200. I totally didn't expect it, and it was the first time I thought to myself, wow, I really can do this. I don't know if anyone else listening has had an experience where a specific moment in their career where it was validation of like, wow, I really can do this, like this person said. Even just like me reflecting back on some of my moments of being a photographer, I think the acts of kindness from my clients really made me feel like, yeah, I can do this. And another big thing for me was also like the support from my friends and family too. Like the people that would get me bookings and refer their friends and everything. Like though that was my friends and family that did that. Like they would go and tell their friends and I was like booking my circle of people. And that really helped me feel like, yeah, I can do this because my friends and family are supporting me through this. And yeah, it's really kind. And I think like, just kind of reflect on that moment if you're listening. What moment made you feel like, wow, I can do this? And if you haven't had that moment yet, and maybe you felt like, I don't think I can do this. Has there been a moment where you thought I can't do this? Is there a specific situation or something that happened to you in photography, like some sort of event or someone said something to you that made you feel like you can't do this? Think back on that time and let's erase that. Let's get rid of that because that's not true. You can do this. I get mad sometimes at hypothetical situations that don't exist. Sorry. Okay, this is a little bit of a longer one. Hi, Cassidy. I'm a photographer and my boyfriend is a videographer. We were shooting a micro wedding last weekend and we had the sweetest, most adorable couple ever. The wedding was at a gorgeous Airbnb in San Diego. The backyard had a view of the lake. There were 18 guests and the bride's family flew in from Singapore. We were booked for 10 hours that day since they were having a tea ceremony first, followed by a traditional American ceremony. Throughout the day, almost every family member kept checking in on us to make sure we were taken care of. They served breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and they even had little snacks for us. It was such a refreshing experience since we've been to so many weddings where vendors are served last during dinner and have to rush to eat quickly. Our couple truly made us feel like family. They kept telling us all day how much fun we were having, how much fun we were and how much they loved working with us. During cocktail hour, they insisted we sit down and take a break. They made us feel special during family photos. They asked to get a picture with us since we were such a big part of their day. At the end of the night, the couple gave speeches, thanked their loved ones. It was such a heartwarming moment. Everyone was crying. And at the end of their speech, they even included us in their thank yous. They even thanked us for capturing their day, making them feel comfortable and showing up for them. The whole day was just so wonderful. We got to know the couple so well. Micro weddings are definitely a favorite, and we hope to book more of them. I love that. I love it. I love when people appreciate us. I love when, we're treated like humans, and when it's more than just a service. It's like, we booked you because we love your creativity, you as a person. Like, yeah, it means so much. And I love when my couples are like, can we take a photo together? I'm like, yeah, I would love that. Like, I love taking photos with my clients. It's so fun. I'm a photographer, but this happened a couple of years ago. My mom my mom's fiance was giving okay, sorry, let me start over. I'm a photographer, but this happened a couple of years ago. My mom's fiance was given 3 to 6 months to live. Their engagement had been constantly put off from COVID restrictions here in Canada. Finally, after 4 years and getting that news, they decided to throw a fast wedding so they could be married before he passed away. There's a local charity here that helps cover the cost of palliative care, patients' last wishes or dreams. Think of it like Make-A-Wish, but for adults. His wish was to get married to my mom. This charity helped with everything, including the photographer cost. Local photographers are in this charity's vendor list, and they donate their time to take photos for fast weddings. My family and life photographer, who we used for all of our photos, volunteered to shoot my mom's wedding. That's not all. The makeup artist who was hired stayed well past her time of makeup and helped get my stepdad ready. He was bedridden. She helped get him dressed and ready as she used to be a PSW. It was so heartwarming to see so many vendors donate their time to make my mom's day so special. We lost my stepdad 11 days later, but thanks to all these wonderful vendors and the photo community, they got to have their wedding in their living room. Okay, wow, that's really, really sweet. Like, I guess just, I don't even know, like, I guess I'm speechless. I guess that's what I have to say. This is a podcast and I'm speechless. Like, truly the fact that all these people were able to make this happen, like, it's so tragic that this person's stepdad passed away 11 days later, but the fact that the community of vendors was able to make all of this happen. And I think sometimes as photographers or business owners or whatever, we can get stuck in our high horse. We don't do community work. We don't help. We don't do things for free because like we don't want to be taken advantage of. But I think if you're able to have the confidence in your business to say, I know when to do things for free and when to help, and I know when I need to stand up for myself and get paid. That business owner, to me, in my eyes, is the most successful of them all. Even if you don't have the most success on your books, if you are able to discern when to give and when to charge, it's amazing, truly. And like all these people, it sounds like we're very in tune with like their givometer, whatever, their ability to give. I was at a gig and my camera stopped working. Another photographer noticed my camera was acting up and he gave me his other camera, a Nikon D5S and a 70-200 lens for the rest of the gig. He then even let me keep the memory card so I could edit off of it. This was a brilliant guy. He even then complimented my photos when I showed him the photos. That's really sweet. I had someone that let me keep an SD card too. And I just like, I know it's like $30, but it's still like $30 out of your pocket that you're giving me. It's just really kind. This happened recently during an engagement session back in November. I was showing the clients their photos on the back of my camera so they could get an idea of what their photographs looked like. Their response was, "Oh my God, how did you turn our farm into a movie set? Best compliment ever." But then a few days after the session, they reached out to me before I even delivered their photos, saying that they loved working with me so much that they wanted to extend their wedding package that they booked. I'm so grateful for their kindness and support, a true reminder that there's a client and a photographer out there for everyone. Love it. That's so kind. I love when people extend their packages. It's the best. Okay. The kindest thing that ever happened to me was during a wedding, and it left me in tears. I had the honor of doing both the engagement session and the wedding for an incredible couple. Their bridal party was large and full of energy, one of the most fun and supportive groups I've worked with. They were so helpful during the photos, especially since the couple had a long list of shots they wanted to capture. During the reception, the couple hosted their version of the Dundee Awards. I think it's either Dundee or Doondy. And I think that's from The Office, I'm not sure. Playfully roasting each of the 16 bridal party members in the sweetest way. But before they began, they surprised everyone with a special award for the best photographer. They started looking in my direction. I assumed that they were pointing to someone behind me. I turned around, but to my shock, the award was for me. They said it was for the best photographer who made them feel beautiful and helped make everything possible. I was in tears behind my camera. It was one of the most heartwarming and unforgettable moments in my career. Yeah, bro, I'm in tears just like listening to this. That is so nice. Like, that is just, yeah, it's beyond nice, like, that they would do that. And like, you weren't expecting it, obviously, but it's like a little act of kindness like that just goes so long and far. Like, that's so kind. And I just love that, like, you made all the bridal party feel comfortable. So like, everyone loved you. You deserve this. You 100% deserve the best photographer of 2024 award. I'm awarding that to you. I don't even know you, but I'm awarding it to you because it sounds like you are the best photographer of 2024. When I was shooting a wedding for a young couple, they offered me a plate to eat and I took it to the back room because I wanted to indulge, LOL. But then the bride came and got me and had me sit next to their families at the tables in the reservation hall. I know it's a common courtesy to offer food to the photographer, but feeling like I was a part of the family put warmth in my heart, and it definitely left a memory that will stick with me forever. Okay, so there was a time I was shooting a wedding on a boat, and it was about, I would say, 50 people on this boat, and we all were sitting down for dinner. But they didn't really have like any place for me to sit. They had like these benches up on the top of the boat that I planned to just take my food up there and eat. But when I was like about to go up there, the couple came to me and they were like, we have an extra seat. Like, my sister-in-law didn't end up coming. So we'd like you to like take her seat. So I sit down. Oh, who am I sitting with? The bride's parents. I'm literally sitting with the bride's parents and like the bride's siblings. And I'm literally at the family table eating with them. But they were so kind. I ended up getting the bride's dad's like mac and cheese recipe. He like texted it to me. Like, it's just so random. He had like this cute little flip phone and he was like, let me send you my mac and cheese recipe. I was like, sure. It's a good recipe. So yeah, little things like that, man. Love to hear it. Okay, moving on. Wow. I love this episode. I need to keep doing episodes like this. I want to start by saying I was literally listening to last year's Kindest Thing episode on my drive to work today. Oh, that's so sweet. Okay. So, but you need to catch up. You better get on it. So I'm relatively new to my business and I photographed my first ever wedding in April. It was amazing. The clients were perfect and hyped me up as much as I hyped them up. Fast forward to now, I had a client inquire and book me for their wedding coming up this summer. During her engagement session, she told me how she saw me at the first wedding and how she told herself that she needed me to be her photographer when she finally got engaged. After that session, I got a message from the bride of the first wedding with the longest paragraph basically saying she was so proud of me and she will forever be a supporter and hype girl for me. And that when my current bride reached out to her asking for my info to contact me, she hyped me up to the new bride. That's so kind. I love that. And I love when people are like, I saw you this one time and I knew I needed you as my photographer. That actually happened to me at a wedding I shot in Cabo. At this point, it was about a year ago. And then like someone from the wedding also booked me for like a wedding in Chicago. And it was funny. It was just because I didn't really know that they were from that wedding. And then I like go to their Instagram and like stalk them. And I'm like, oh my gosh, those are the people from that one wedding. Like, it's just funny how you don't even realize being present at a wedding sometimes is enough to get you another booking, right? That's just, yeah, it's funny. Okay, we've got a couple more left. I just love these stories, though. I don't want this to end. I was photographing a proposal and someone approached my boyfriend, who's now my fiance, asking who I was. He immediately pulled up my Instagram, shared all of my web info with this individual because he was looking to do an engagement session with his fiance and loved my work. He approached me afterwards and he wouldn't stop talking about how my boyfriend was gushing over my work and how well he was promoting me. We love supportive spouses. That is adorable. I love when Charlie is just like if someone's like, what do you do for work? And like, I kind of explain to them, I'll be like, oh, I'm a photographer. But then Charlie would be like, no, you guys don't understand. She does this and this and this. And I'm just like, it's just like, that's so sweet. Like, I'm trying not to like brag on myself or like explain everything I do. But like, he is like, no, I need to tell people like, you're amazing. And we love a supportive spouse. A bride asked me my favorite snacks and food and gave me a basket and lunch with all the things I said and gift cards. Too sweet. I'm loving all your guys' brides. I'm loving all your clients this year. Not a super specific one, but I love being out in public with my wedding couples and strangers always congratulating them, clapping for them, honking their car horns while driving past. I always think it's so sweet that strangers are excited for newlyweds. I love this too. I love when I'm with like a couple like who just got married and someone walks by and they're like, congrats, or they're like, you look so beautiful. Like, and this is very, very common. Like people do it quite a lot and I love it. Like, I just think it's so kind. Again, restoring my hope in society. Okay. A toddler that I was photographing after the shoot came up to me, hugged me, lifted his arms for me to carry him. With the mother's permission, I did. He rested on my shoulder. It was a kind and beautiful moment. That's really sweet. Kids are the best. Like, that's just so sweet that like you made that kid feel comfortable enough that they wanted to like hang out with you. That's so cute. I'm an 18-year-old concert photographer and I began in my hometown. I've only ever been in a few big concerts with a real photo pit. My most recent and biggest concert had 4 young girls in the pit, usually I'm the only girl lead alone and the youngest person. I've never felt so supported by all the girls. We were hyping each other up and everyone was waiting to walk by so we didn't interrupt each other's shots. Everyone was sharing their contacts and social media. It was the cutest thing I've ever seen. That's so cute. And it's like, it's just funny. It's like the Barbie movie, essentially. Like, it's like in a room full of girls, like we're going to be girls. Like, we're going to be like, oh my gosh, no, I'll wait for your shot. Like, what's your Instagram? It's just like, we're going to support each other. It's just girlhood. It's just girlhood. Okay. This is the last submission. This is so simple, but a client gifted me a little pink camera ornament to put on my tree, and I will never forget that. Christmas is my favorite time of year, and seeing it on my tree always reminds me of how thankful I am for this little business of mine. What a great one to end the podcast with. Clients being selfless, clients giving gifts. We love to see it. We love to see photographers volunteering. Like, this is just the best. This is the best episode. I came into this episode with about 40% happiness and I'm walking out 120% happiness, guys. Because this is just so sweet. I'm about to like literally go lay in my bed just thinking about like how sweet these stories are. Like, I'm not even joking. I'm feeling very sentimental lately. So I don't know. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode. Next week, I have a really fun episode. We are going to do a 2024 recap. We're going to be talking about everything that happened during the year. We're going to be talking about some crazy things, maybe some things you didn't know happened during the year. I'm really excited. So I'll see you guys next week for another episode. Have an amazing rest of your day.